My dear friends, as I am giving my opinion and suggestions for solving the global issues and problems, today we are going to discuss about institution building. What is institution building? Why institutions are created? Why are they developed? Why do they get sick or indisposed? Sometimes, how do they die of a natural death? And why? Sometimes we find that institutions are also murdered and killed. We find at many occasions institutions after its establishment, maybe 5 years or 10 years after its establishment, the institutions get stagnated. So there are many similar issues which will be discussed in brief today. An institution is a type of establishment or an organization which is established with a view to providing services, welfare or products, or for that matter any other idea to be disseminated among the common mass for the welfare of the society. A hospital can be an institution, a school can be an institution, an institute can be an institution, a college can be an institution. Other examples are university, a public sector establishment, an industrial establishment. For that matter, the federal government, the central government, its ministries and departments, the state governments, the provincial governments, their departments and their establishments are also institutions. There are religious institutions, all types of temple-based organizations, mosque-based organizations, or for that matter, Christianity-based organization, Zoroastrian organizations, or Sikh religion promotion organizations, Buddhism organizations, Confucius organizations, Baha'i religion promotion organizations. There can be many such examples. A political organization is also an institution. A political organization is started to also do the welfare, but because of the enactment and the constitution of the respective countries and states, there are provisions where the political parties participate in an election, and then those who win are the ruling party and the other major party are in opposition. So all this relate to institutions. Once the institutions are started, it starts with an aim, an objective. The moment aims and objectives are decided, proper planning is done for the future years where the programs are to be implemented. For this matter, you have to remember about the other management aspect, which is organizing. There can't be a one-man organization. There are persons needed to man those organizations and institutions. Again, there is a directing angle required, that there has to be an effective leader who will not only help establish the institution but also run it for a few years so that the institutions come on its own legs. We have the staffing pattern. Without proper staffing, the core team will have more and more staff so that the functions of an organization or an institution can be effectively done. There is a control mechanism. Once you decide the plans, as soon as you pass some time, you have to look back and see whether whatever is being done is conforming to the plans. If it is not, it means you may not be able to achieve the objectives. So very important aspect is that whatever you think, implement. And then if you think that some additional aims and objectives are to be added, accordingly you have to plan out the entire strategy for ensuring that those new aims and objectives are also promoted in the right manner. Now, coming to the fact why institutions do get indisposed, why they do become sick. Because if all the aspects are not seen in advance, and if there is lack of manpower or lack of finances or lack of the existing regulations which are not helpful, institutions may be sick. So in order to see that how could they overcome the sickness, there are strategies, and once you diagnose the weaknesses in the regulations, you have to talk to the government for ensuring that such institutions do not die. Otherwise, you have to change the objectives and do the welfare in a different manner. For example, the full-time teaching institutions have been there for several thousand years, right from Nalanda and Takshila in India and in Bologna and every country, Oxford or Cambridge. So now is the time when these universities, if they are not offering online courses, because no need was felt at that time. The smaller institutions used to have certificate courses and they were having many online courses. But now that the pandemic, which is troubling all of us, the COVID-19, we have come to a conclusion that online education is to be added. Accordingly, the objective has to be achieved and modified. Otherwise, what will happen? Students won't come because they can't leave homes. So through online, you can fully teach the practical classes and theory classes. Everything can be organized through online, but not only through the web arrangement, but also buying some space in the virtual world, and then have a classroom environment where students are sitting and teaching is already being done. So that way we have to ensure that. Sometimes because of political reasons, a very good institution which is not helping a particular party or a government may be damaged directly or indirectly, or for that matter even competitors. As we are living in the 21st century in the perfect competition, sometimes those who believe in monopoly, if they are running one institution and other institution has come, the bigger fish will be eating the smaller fish. So that should not happen. In that case, we have to be careful. So friends, for that matter, we have to also find why institutions get stagnated. If the aims and objectives have been decided, but because of the population growth, because of competition, if institutions are incurring loss, or institutions, board of directors or the board of control or court of governors are feeling that somehow it has stagnated, then you have to see whatever is to be done, whether you have to change the objectives, modify the objectives, or whether there is a management failure. All those things are to be seen. I will give you a small example. Air India, which is a flagship, which has been a flagship organization in India, the only airline which was operating worldwide, and after the merger of Air India with Indian Airlines, it is one of the biggest airlines, but it is running in loss. And millions of dollars have been lost because the company is running in loss. Now the government of India is feeling like selling the company, the public sector, to another individual or an organization or to a group or to an industrialist or to a business person or to any other government or to any other public sector or private sector from India or abroad. I don't know why are they doing this. Do they think that overnight after it is bought, they will start having profit? Of course they will. Otherwise, why should they buy it? They do not want to buy because they want to have more deficit, whatever was there when it was owned by Government of India. In that case, it is high time that Government of India looks back and tries to diagnose the weaknesses in the present system and what the new buyer would have been doing it. If they will pump in more money, if they pump in management techniques, if they bring efficient manpower, if they bring better staff, the same could have been done. Because I fail to understand why the new team will run it effectively and why the older team will run it in a very bad manner. So institutions are made and created that way. It is our duty to ensure that institutions do not die. In India, we have many organizations. We have regulatory organizations, we have promotional organizations, we have entrepreneurial organizations, we have planning organizations. There was the Planning Commission of India. It was felt that it has performed its duty. So by changing the name and objectives, now we have a Niti Aayog. It's a very good idea. Institution is of course there, but the objectives have been modified, name has been changed. Accordingly, the CBI, or for that matter, NIA, all these are institutions. The police establishment is also an institution. The border security force is an institution. Sashima Bal, SSB, is also an institution. Indo-Tibetan Border Force is an institution. So we have to ensure that all institutions, for whatever purposes they have been established, must perform its duty effectively so that it would help the society at large. We will discuss some other topics some other day. For today, it is over, and thank you very much for your patient hearing. May peace prevail on this Mother Earth.